It was the most startling experience of my life. I've never experienced anything like it before or since. So I'm Janet Chambers, this is my husband Wesley, and we're senior leaders of Living Waters Christian Centre. Where we're at now is really exciting. We're about to launch our building project. We've got plans done and we're about to release those to the church so they see the plans of the building that I was shown in 1996 in a vision. Initially, I found myself in a street in Horsville. It was full of babies. They were looking at me. Even within the vision, I knew it was symbolic of a revival. And they were looking at me, and I was responsible to find housing for them. And I began to cry out, what do I do with the babies?
As the experience started to happen, and Janet started to experience the power of God in that way, I thought, this seems to be significant, but had no idea how significant.
At this point, I was suddenly taken onto a piece of land at the corner of Dunbars Road and Horsville Road, and I was standing on it. I could feel the grass beneath my feet. I couldn't get out of the vision. It just was consuming me at the time. And the sky began to get dark in the vision, and I saw that a giant eagle was coming over the land. When the eagle lifted up, I saw a building on this piece of land, and I was taken by Jesus into the building. I saw inside it, I saw the layout of it, I saw how it was on the land, and there were certain aspects of it that he pointed out as being really important.
Those dimensions have indicated to us that there's certain agendas that God's got for us, not only to receive the harvest that He's preparing, but also to nurture them, to love them, to include them in family, to equip them, to believe in them, and then eventually send them to wherever they're meant to go.
It left us with this responsibility of finding out, well, who owns the land and how do we purchase it? What do we do now? So for the next 6.5 years, we tried to purchase the property, and many disappointments along the way. And so many times we had to drive past this piece of land and we'd be looking at it and thinking, God, are your purposes ever going to come to pass? How is this going to happen? But at the same time, we were seeing the subdivisions going ahead and the development for the motorway, all these different things that God had shown were beginning to be ticked off the list. And so we knew He was faithful, we knew we were on track, but we didn't know how it was going to happen. Then actually the signing over of the land, the deal was done 7 years to the day of the vision, and it was just felt like another confirmation from God that, hey, I'm in this, you can trust me in the process.
So the details in the vision gave us certain non-negotiables regarding the building, its size, certain aspects of the building and so on. So those things became our non-negotiables in the design brief. And over time, as we've gotten to the point where we could identify an architect to work with who would understand where we're coming from and also understand church and kingdom, then we've been able to lay these things down. It's been very exciting seeing the interpretations, how these things have come about to actually give shape on paper what Janet saw and what she was able to communicate.
For me personally, this has almost shaped my life. It's been an incredible entrustment from God to be able to see this come to pass and for it to fulfill what I believe are His desires for the city and for the nation. And it's impacted our church in a similar way. One of the things was that we were to be like a well for the city. Another aspect was that there were going to be people being sent out. It was like a centre where people were going to be sent out to nations and to cities around the world.
The building isn't the vision so much. The building facilitates the mission and facilitates the long-term vision. So it's a local church hub, it's a place where community can gather. It's also a conference centre where we can really bless the people in the city and the region. It's a rallying point for the kingdom and a sending point.
I see that it's not even so much as partnering with Living Waters or partnering with us, but it's partnering with the heart and the desire of God.
We're into solid miracle territory, but this whole thing began in the Spirit. It began in the power of God. It really will be sustained and fulfilled in the power of God.